coming back to Rhubarb Yoga today. So yet again we are going for the chair, but we're going to be twisting with it today. You will need a block, and no, we're not cheating. This is to enable us to activate and reach the shapes that we're going to try and demonstrate with the chair, and using the block will give us some accessibility. So I wonder how you've been doing. Have you found things that have surprised you? Have you been able to come into these poses from a different perspective? Have you been able to reach them in a way that you didn't think was going to be possible for you, in your particular body? We all have completely individual bodies, shapes and dimensions. Some of us are graced with long arms, long legs, tall, long, elegant torsos, and some of us have a fantastic voluptuousness to our physique as well. We have abundant legs, juicy posteriors. We may have an ample chest, we might have big, strong shoulders, but all of those things make no difference if we don't feel comfortable inside ourselves. So by using the chair and props, we're going to give ourselves the ability to give a comfortableness to the inner self by reaching these shapes in a different manner, and possibly reaching them for the first time in a way we didn't think was going to be possible originally. So let's start nice and simply. We're going to do a simple seated twist, or TP twist. Now normally this would be accessed. Let me show you it without the chair so we know what we're dealing with. We're going to be looking at a simple seated twist, knees bent, feet can be together or apart, it's completely up to you, but together is more comfortable and gives us slightly more stability with our posterior and our spine. And a simple seated twist is wrapping the arm in front of the knees, tucking the hand inside the crook of the knee to keep the legs stable and the knees together. If we don't tuck that in, we have an ability to twist, but also one leg will drive forward, twisting the pelvis, which is not what we're aiming for. So by tucking the fingers into the knee, we enable that stability, and then we're twisting from the torso, which is where the twist is supposed to happen. It's meant to be from the thoracic, not the pelvis, not the hips. And the thoracic is the mid-back to upper back. So we have three parts to the back. We have the cerebral here, then we have the thoracic, and then we have the lumbar. So by splitting the back into three, when I say that we're going to be twisting from the thoracic or mid-back, you know where you should be aiming for. But don't worry if you can't quite get it. Every one of us is different, and all our understandings of our own bodies grow with time. So let's assess this from the chair and look at it in a different way. Not needing the block with this one. Now typically, depending on your own body, you might be able to access it simply by bringing the feet up. But if we don't have that mobility, we need to look at this to give accessibility. So we can bring both knees up, if that's possible, and this can be our simple seat. But our twist might be difficult because we don't have any space. So we have two options. We can turn round in the chair, which gives us better accessibility. The feet can be on the edge of the chair, our back is still perpendicular, but we can cheat and use the back of the chair, or not cheat, we're using our prop. So we're creating our fingers, tucking them in. We don't need to worry about twisting round because we've got our fingers and our arm in our stable position, but we're going to use the chair to enable the twist. So by placing the hand on the back of the chair, we're allowing that twist to happen, and we have no way of over twisting and hyperextending through the back arm because we have no ground to push into. We're using the chair to access the twist. The only thing we need to worry about is if we're slipping on the chair, so make sure that the chair isn't too slippery or the fabric you're wearing has got some kind of traction. So we're going to breathe in, allowing the back to open up, creating space between the knees and the chest, and enabling that twist. can swap round and come to the other side. Or, if this space is just not working for you, we can do it one-legged. Now, by doing it one-legged, we're creating the space in between the thigh and the chest. We have the knee to grip onto, but we don't hang on to it for dear life. We're merely using it as a prop. And then we're coming round, using the back of the chair again to gain that accessibility of our twist. And then we're going to twist round. The foot on the floor enables us to stop twisting the hips and the pelvis out of alignment. We're grounded by holding onto the knee and keeping that alignment with the leg over the pelvis as well. And the leg and arm can come in together and enable us to action and twist again. And when we twist, think about how your body's moving. Many of us potentially going into twist think that we've got a great deep twist because our eyes are taking us over here, but our body isn't following. So if we truly follow where our body twists, we might be surprised at how deep or shallow the twist can be. So trying to keep the head in alignment with the centre of the chest. It's okay to go a little bit over, it's not a problem, but try not to kid ourselves and overjar our neck by thinking that we're twisting right behind us like that, and in actual fact, we're twisting more like that. So that is our TP twist, which seems a little bit more accessible for some of us that just can't get to the ground today. Now we're going to look at one that could be a little bit more challenging, eagle pose, or Garudasana. Now eagle pose, standing up, is a definite balance challenger. And we may need the block at this point. A Garudasana traditionally is coming off chair pose, one leg over the top of the other, and then possibly twisting around the back of the calf, and the arms follow and reciprocate in that shape. So, but demonstrating it, make sure you're in your chair nice and grounded. So we're going to bring the top leg up, bring it in, and just tuck it up and hold it for a little moment, just to drive the femur bone into the hip, so we feel nice and balanced, and we're not straining or pulling anything out of shape. Then we're going to twist over like we were crossing our knees. Now we have two choices. We can bring the toes up to allow us to gain more access for that twist, or we can use a block. Depending on your dimension of your body, if you feel that you need more space, twisting over, to access that deep twist, please use the block. If not, and you are happy with the dimensions of your legs, lucky you if you've got long legs, then please go for it. And please don't try this double tuck. This is absolutely fine. But if you feel that you're becoming a little bit cramped here, remove the block away and allow that space. The space between the thorax, the chest, the thighs, enables us to breathe and catch our breath, which enables our balance to become better, deeper and more focused. So somehow that's just a little bit more important. So bringing the leg up, either cross once or tuck further round. If your body allows it, please don't force it. And then keeping the back nice and straight without being stiff and soft. Taking a breath, we're going to raise the arms up in front of us. Now the top leg always goes under and around. Now hands back to back, perfectly good. Hands like that, absolutely fine. If you can't quite do it, hands on the shoulders. We're still enabling a twist. We're still creating an opening between the shoulder blades and an expansion across the back, all of which are creating the same or similar experience Garudasana arms. So we can have our palms back to back, or we can double wrap again like the legs. And we can feel the expansion across the shoulders. Now taking a breath in, we're going to bring the arms up, feeling the stretch, and then gently out, 2, and then allow the body to open and relax. Breath and pose. So let's unwrap the arms first. We're going to feel this in the hips, no matter where the hips are. We may not be forward in traditional Garudasana, but we're actually still in that chair shape. So you can double check Both legs may be different lengths and heights, so you might need to add the block this time or take it away this time. Please double check. Again, single or double wrap. Never, ever push yourself, particularly in twists that you're unfamiliar with. You might find that you'll feel the pressure not instantly, but it'll start to build, and you need to ensure that you release and come into that carefully. Arms up again, and this time the opposite arm wraps. Single wrap, shoulders, or double wrap, whatever's working for you today. Taking that breath in, coming up, allowing the space in the front of the ribs. Feel the stretch between the shoulders and arms up and gently away. Now release and come down. So there are a couple of good seated twists that we can work on. Now we have another. We're going to do seated half moon rise. Not complicated, quite a mouthful. And we're going to look at it again in the chair. So it may be better and it's more accessible to have the back of the chair at the side of your body. Coming into it, you're going to be reclining into the back twist, and that may not be accessible with the back of the chair. But experiment, see which is good for you, and work with whatever works for you too. So I'm going to turn the chair to the side, and then we're going to look at it in this way. So actually, I'll have my back to it so you can see it from the side and see the full expression. So traditionally we'd be on the floor, and we'd have one leg flat, and we bring this foot in. Now this foot can come to the ground for the moment, and once you're comfortable in the position, you can expand it out, or you can keep it resting on the ground. The main expression of this will be in the twist and the front leg hold. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the opposite hand to the outside of this foot, and we're just going to bring it up and hold it and cradle it. And if it's a little tight, rock the foot, rock the hip backwards and forwards, getting a little bit of space into the hip. And then we're going to gently hold it and see how our back is. Now we don't want to arch backwards, and this is where you may need to change the chair around and see how you feel. Coming up, holding the arm and the leg comfortably, and if you can expand it straight, please do that. And if that's not for you, under the heel, back of the calf, back of the knee, totally fine. Or a strap around the ball of the foot and holding it with this opposite arm is again absolutely ideal. So placing the hand where is ever comfortable for you, and then we're going to raise this arm up, and we're going to breathe out, and we're going to do our seated half moon rise. So by doing this, we're creating the twist, we're twisting along the side of the body, along the abdominal, which is an absolutely beautiful way of creating some inner massage with our digestive organs, our stomach, our kidneys, getting everything working, creating a healthy digestive system. Kick out through that heel. Don't allow it to come over to the side. By pushing through with the heel, we can create that integrity of the leg, and we make sure that we're keeping the hip in line too. Now if you feel comfortable and confident, you can raise that bottom leg out, but that's not necessary. It doesn't actually achieve a great deal, except it might affect your balance. So if you would rather keep it on the floor, please do it. And then bend and come back in. Hold the knee, allow it to sink, and return. So let's swivel around and go for it on this side. And both sides again, as I've already mentioned many times, are very different. And this side might feel slightly uncomfortable, unbalanced, not secure. So use whatever you need. If you want to work with the chair in this way, then we can do that. So, foot on the floor, knee to the chest. Allow the femur to sink into the hip bone and the pelvis, and place the hand on the opposite side, outer foot, and just hold so we've got our back nice and secure. Extend the leg out ever so slightly, see how we're feeling. If it's not quite working today, if we've got knee issues, heel, calf, back of the leg, back of the knee, bend the leg, ever you can go. Holding that, extending the foot through the heel. Taking our breath and then opening to the side and across the back of the chair, pushing through that front leg and keeping still. Enjoying the twist, keeping that leg nice and straight. And then bringing in, hugging the leg back in. And there we go. So it's quite easy to see how we have the accessibility to enter something we don't think could be possible sometimes by using something in a different direction. So now we're going to look at one thing that might change how you look at your chair. We're going to do a lunge, but we're not just going to do any lunge, we're going to do twisted lunge, which again, we've done warrior two, we know is possible to come into that position. Twisted lunge is something that might not quite feel very comfortable if we struggle with it normally, but using the chair might settle that feeling of instability. This is where you will definitely need your block to give you that extra leverage of coming up and opening. So, coming into our lunge, we're going to step around instead of pulling the chair through, but if you want to pull the chair through first and adjust the feet, please do that. So coming through, stepping into our lunge and getting our chair in its position. Our lunge is always our knee over our ankle at 90 degrees, foot facing forward, and we're going to be doing a knee up lunge or crescent lunge or Anjaneyasana, high lunge. This is where you're going to need the blocks for your accessibility. It's not possible to put the knee down, so this is where you're going to definitely need the block to give you some height. So having the hand on here, you're extending through the back leg, you've still got the knee over the ankle, but it's raising the body up and away to give you space, which is where you need it to enable you to create the twist. But we're in a lunge at the moment. We've got the chair to support the back of the thigh, which is where we can feel particularly weak if we're in any kind of leg bearing pose, because the position and access of the thigh and the knee may not always be available. But by using the back of the chair particularly to hold on, we don't want it to bear weight and feel heavy. We need to take the weight into the feet, pushing through that back heel, keeping our feet both in line. We want to be on train tracks, not tram tracks, so we can look back and make sure there is a nice space between the 2 feet. That aids our balance and make sure we are stable taking our pose. And then we're going to come in to our twisted lunge. So traditionally, we would place our hand on the outer foot, or we would place it on the inner foot, depending on what accessibility you want. So we're going to take it onto the inner foot, which will be the more familiar twisted lunge. So coming down, pushing through the back heel to give us stability in the back of the body without relying on that chair and sinking. We're going to come up, and then we're going to twist with the thorax, with the mid-back, twisting the ribs. The foot is into the ground, and you can place the hand on the ribs to help you twist, and then raise the arm up. Now if it's not comfortable to have the head and the neck towards the foot, towards the thumb, you can look down. Sometimes looking down helps the balance as well, and gaze down to the mat. By this time it's quite possible your thighs are burning. Completely understand that. So let's raise the arm and lower it down again. Coming up, and this is where we come up by using the chair. And that's your twisted lunge. So let's swap sides, make sure it's balanced, and that will be that today. So let's bring the block at the front. Swap legs, so bringing it round, or straddle, however you're choosing to get into your chair today. Use your chair. Don't be afraid of not using it to come into the pose. Again, remind yourself, you're not cheating. You're giving yourself an opportunity to access something that you would like to learn, to improve, to expand on, to experience. So we are now in our high lunge. Try and tuck the tailbone to make sure we're not pushing up into that lower lumbar and squashing the lower vertebrae. Make sure the knees over the ankle. If we need to adjust, please adjust. Checking our train tracks. And now we're going to move into our twisted lunge. So place the block on the inside of the front foot, opposite arm. Now we can push through the back leg. Now we can feel comfortable. We can twist from the thorax. We can place our hand on our ribs and feel the rotation. Grounding that foot at the front to make sure that we're not twisting through the pelvis, and pushing the back foot down gives us stability. And then we're going to raise that arm up. When you have your shoulder close to the neck, please don't allow it to be squashed. Please open up. By increasing that expansion there, you will feel the front body grow, and that twist will be more accessible for you. So coming back, use the chair to support yourself to come out of the pose. And that is it for today. Please have some fun. Don't take it too seriously. And be kind to yourself. We all start somewhere. Doesn't mean we have to finish in the same place. And we can all grow. Please enjoy your day. Be well. Have fun.